Rossa, thank you for joining us. How are you?
Yeah, very good. How are you keeping?
Yeah, very, very good. You've got an exciting week, obviously, leading up to the big one on Saturday at Epsom. How are you feeling ahead of the derby?
Yeah, excited. Look, it's going to be a long week. It was since we got off him in the Derby, or in the Dante. It was going to be a long week, long couple of weeks. But I had to sit in him last week. He felt great, so it's all systems go so far.
You're obviously one of the best riders in the weighing room. You've had a terrific few seasons, but on the eve of such a big moment and a big race, is it hard to kind of switch your brain off, get a good night's sleep, or are you a sort of person that sort of plays it over and over again in their mind?
I'll be honest, going through my form and everything, I'm probably no good to talk to till about 11 o'clock that morning,
right,
because I haven't gone through it. To me, that's Saturday morning's job, and until I have it done, I kind of know roughly what's going on, but not fully everything. I kind of leave it off.
You're riding every single day. You've got different rides every day. Yeah. You can't focus on a week in advance, 2 weeks in advance, because of all that's going to happen between now and then, right?
Oh, exactly. But it allows you just to relax a small bit. I think if I was up to 90 thinking about it, you wouldn't sleep the night before or a couple of weeks before. Yeah, so it's probably a good thing.
We won't talk about the other runners in the race now, but what we can talk about is the Dante win. It looked very good. Can you just talk us through the race? How did it ride as a race? The sectionals would say that they didn't go that hard, and you've sort of sprinted to the line. The pedigree for your lad means he'll thrive when he steps up in trip. Can you just talk us through the Dante from your point of view?
Yeah, from my point of view, we didn't go mad early. Probably the line in winter was over keen, and I might have ruled him out of some of it, but that's going to bring pace into the race, and that was the one thing that day I was unsure how much I'd actually find. But once we got on with it from the top of the straight, I wasn't feared if somebody came around and looped and swooped around everyone, because I had loads of gears, and I was happy to just sit and wait. And he showed an explosive turn of foot in my eyes when I kicked him to go forward, and the last half of furlong just got a bit idle, which she's entitled to do. It's only a second run.
When you watch him though, he's still green. You was to ask him. He still had plenty under the bonnet, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. And he I don't think the trip is going to be a problem. He's bred to get it. And what very much impressed me was his mindset before the race. He took everything in. He was the one horse on paper that had every chance to go boil over, because it was only a second run. And he took it all in very well, nearly too well. And
is he balanced to ride?
Very. He can adjust himself so well, and
that's great for Epsom, isn't it?
Exactly. And what I loved about him coming back, I thought in the race getting to the line he'll come on from it, but also he took a fair grip coming back from pulling up, and I just thought, you still got hopefully something that I haven't seen yet.
Do you think he'll be better with a stronger pace?
Absolutely. Look, again, I had every chance to be keen, being so long off the track early doors, and he just jumped. Once I put him into position, he relaxed away, and to be honest, he's actually become more relaxed at home even since the run, in his work and everything. So he's a mindset I've not really come across before. So I'm hoping that all the prelims and all that, he'll be perfectly able.
It's a bit like he finds it easier now. He knows what you want of him, which actually is impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Now he knows what the job is.
And work is upped at home as well for him, so he's not as fresh, and he's starting to mature quickly.
I thought the best thing about him is he didn't have a hard race either. So if you have a hard race this close to the Derby, it can actually knock a horse back. But he'll surely come forward. You'd be disappointed if he couldn't improve at least 7, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and you know what? He'll have to, because with the makeup of the race, it looks a very good Derby on paper, but he's done nothing wrong. And I think the biggest thing for everyone involved was the last day I had a free hand and I was allowed to educate him, and I deliberately went up through the block of horses instead of just taking the easy route and coming down the stand side rail, and I was allowed to teach him.
Can I just ask a stupid question for those at home? What do you mean by a free hand?
Going out in the trial, we didn't know where we fully stood with him, and Rafe kind of just left it up to me. I can just ride him as I feel him feel him through the race, and that's what I did. And again, I was allowed just followed them through and wait until look, I was lucky to have the horse that when the gaps opened I could take them, but I was able to do that. I not only was able to use it as a try, but I was able to use it as a very good guidance for him to become a more mature animal down the line.
I know you haven't done the form of the other runners yet. I'm sure you've looked at a few of them, but who do you think is the main danger?
I question Ruling Court's stamina. He's a very good horse. Just on the downside more than anything. I think Justify brings the staying into it, but I was impressed with Delacroix last year and even more this year. I thought I had him beat in Newmarket on Stanhope Gardens, and I would have said maybe on better ground I might have, but...
Do you think any horse from the Dante can get the better of your lad at Epsom?
No.
Do you think any horse in the Derby can get the better of your horse at Epsom?
Well, we'll let that's what the Derby for, but yeah. I don't think in the Dante. I've heard loads of pundits since saying X, Y and Z and people being too far back and whatever, but I still had to wait longer than everybody else, you know, Dempsis and
Line in Winter.
Yeah, and the Juddmonte horse. They were all gone and rolling before I actually even got out into daylight. So you can doll it up all you want, but that's what I
really appreciate your thoughts. It's been fascinating listening to you talk